Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High, Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakak. I want to say shalom to you brothers and sisters out there, pursuing this truth diligently, coming at you once again with another lesson. And this is the third edition, Lord willing, of America is in a state of societal decline. And today, I believe we'll be dealing with two, different ones. We'll be dealing with number 3 and number 4. Okay, number 3 and number 4. What we've gone so far is we've gotten, institutions losing their legitimacy. Of course, we got scriptures like Habakkuk 1 and 4, the law being slack, so justice and, is not going forth as it should be going forth. Ecclesiastes 10 and 8 talking about how these devils, how they acquired their riches was through deceit, deceit and also murder, but as Ecclesiastes 10 and 8 says, riches gotten by deceit. And then we got Ecclesiastes 12 and 10. Of course, never trust thine enemy, for as iron rusteth, so does his wickedness. Iron does not rust better. It just rusts worse and worse and worse until eventually whatever that tool or item is that's iron will eventually just completely dissolve. And then lastly, for part 1, we got Psalms 55 and 21, dealing with not trusting these devils with their smooth speeches. Of course, the words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but inwardly they were drawn swords. Dealing with we talked about double speak. How they'll say one thing but mean another thing, right? And then we talked about political paralysis and constant infighting. Of course, how they set, order ob chaos, order through chaos, and that's how these people rule. And they talked about how it was a 33-degree Scottish Masonic motto, but it's not just the motto of the Scots; it's the motto in general. For these devils that are ruling this place is order ob chaos. They rule through chaos. Another one of the things, if you look in the Walton's boat or yacht, what is the name of it? She has a boat. If you go, you should be able to find the name of it. Yeah. Chaos. $300 million super yacht called Chaos. Okay. Which is just, I believe it's just, is it Greek? Yeah. So chaos, of course, disorder, confusion, unpredictability. It's derived from the ancient word for the primordial void. So chaos. Okay. Chaos. Which goes back to ancient Greek, meaning chasm or void. Okay. So, it's right in front of your face, right? But, in dealing with the political infighting, of course, we got Isaiah 19 and 2, a little bit of a recap here, and talks about, the Egyptian being set against the Egyptian, of course, in this case, dealing with spiritual Egypt, it's the Edomite against the Edomite in this case, right? Mark 3 and 24 talks about, if a kingdom be divided against itself, it's a kingdom that cannot stand, roughly paraphrasing. So that's why, that's a state of societal decay, a state of societal decline, Mark 3 and 24 is, one of probably, not that there's any one best, but it's one of the best scriptures to grab when you're dealing with societal decline, because it shows you that it's physically impossible for a society like this to last. Okay, Mark 3 and 24, and if a kingdom be divided against itself, that kingdom cannot stand. It cannot stay. It's just gonna fall apart. It's like a house that's built on an unstable foundation. There's another parable within the Bible. But again, that's talking with building yourself up. But it's the same in the society. If this society wasn't built on a strong foundation, it's not gonna last. It's gonna crumble away. It might last for a while. It might seem strong for a while, but ultimately it's going to decay and crumble away. And of course, we got lastly Proverbs 29 and 2. But when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn. And that shows you, and then we got the other scripture talking about the earth is given in the hand of the wicked, showing you that who's ruling the world right now is wicked, and that, when the wicked rule, the people mourn, and that's why people are mourning, okay? That's why you got all these things in this just planned chaos, that they're doing with ICE, and they're doing all these things. They're getting people all riled up so they can, get this new world order going in, right? And they're gonna that's their ultimate goal. All right, their ultimate goal is to create the a one world order, a new world order, where they rule. Is it unanimously? Yeah. Unanimously, without opposition, with agreement of all people involved. Now, is that gonna work? No. No, it's not gonna work. But they're gonna try their asses off. All right, and that's why they're doing these things, and they're ramping it up. And you see, like, people are saying, "Damn, we're just barely into 2026," or even back, last year after he got put into office. All right, Nero. All right, what is it? Nero 47, as it said. But it's there. People were wondering why he's kicking it up. Like, whoa, we're barely into 2025, and then the big beautiful bill and the what did they call it? Basically the big beautiful bill. They had another name for it. What was it called? What was that thing called? All right, it wasn't the big beautiful bill. They had another name for it. What was the name of that bill? They had a... It was like the, does not support... Oh, that's what it was. Project 2020. All right, Project 2025, and there was, let's see. Let's see. He came out and said that he was not for Project 2025, all right? But if you look at Project 2025, there's actually a list. You can see a lot of these have already come to some amount of fruition, all right? If I can go ahead and open... Let me do it here. I don't know if I got... All right, it's Project 2025, okay? Complete bans on abortions without exception. Of course, he's trying to do that. There was already rumor on a contraception ban. Additional tax breaks for corporations to 1%. Cut Social Security, cut Medicare, and the affordable. A lot of these things are happening or have happened or are happening, right? We're right here. Ban books and curriculum about slavery. There's a lot of things. They already removed anything about slavery from the national parks. All right, they don't believe in that. So, again, this guy Nero. All right, he knows. All right, what he's got to do, because at the end of the day, here it is. Revelation 12:12. They know at the end of the day. All right. Therefore, rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. He knows his time is running up. All right. He knows that the end is nigh. Again, these guys watch the apostles of Great Millstone. All right. They're not watching IOIC or any of those guys. They don't know what the fuck they're talking about. All right. Those guys are planned opposition. All right. They're on their payroll. All right, so they're not watching them. They're watching the guys that aren't on their payroll. All right, so they can get the true understanding of what the hell is going on. All right, and that's GMS. Okay, they're watching GMS. All right, and not that I'm in GMS, but I teach the same thing. I'm not going to call myself an affiliate because the apostles already made that decree that ain't to be a thing anymore. All right, but that's who I learn from. All right, because if you want the truth, why wouldn't you learn it from the people that have the truth? All right, why would you go and learn it from why would you learn it from a camp of half truths? Right, IOIC. ISUPK, GOCC, okay, One Body, all right, why, all right, or Sons of Thunder. Why would you go and listen to some half-truths? You either want the truth or you don't, all right? If I was going to go and learn how to work on a 1974 Chevy, all right, I'm going to go and find the manual that was made by Chevy or a reputable brand. I'm not gonna, listen to some guy on the side of the road that says, oh, you know what you should do, and here it is. Here's the manual that I got, and it has nothing to. It's not even adding up with the manual. All right, the manual says, oh, if you're trying to remove the lug nuts, these are reverse threaded. All right, turn to the left. He says, no, they're not. Turn them to the right. Who am I gonna believe? Am I going to believe the manual, all right, from the car manufacturer? Or am I going to believe some fucker just standing around, all right, just saying whatever he wants? Okay? You're calling us some fucker? Well, yeah, if you're not teaching this truth, then you are just some fucker. If you're not teaching the truth, you're really a nobody. All right? You're nobody important, all right? And we're, I don't consider myself anybody important, but I'm talking about the grand scale of things. If you're not teaching the truth, then what are you doing? What are you doing? Why would I want to listen to you if you're not teaching the truth? I don't want to go and listen to lies. If I wanted to listen to lies, I'd go and turn on whatever, Donald Trump speech is going on. Right? So Job 13:4, it says, but ye are forgers of lies, ye are all physicians of no value. Excuse me. We got to deal with, we're dealing with economic decay masked by financial and political tricks. I jumped the gun. All right. But, let's go with, let's just get it. Number 3 here. It's going to give you the breakdown on it. So 3, economic decay masked by financial tricks. And that's really lies. It says rising inequality, shrinking middle class, debt piling on debt, currency debasement. Modern version would be inflation. Money printing, asset bubbles. Rome literally diluted its coinage. Today it's more abstract, but same energy. And it's not abstract. It's the same energy. America has diluted its coinage. Okay, and in literal and in a physical and in a non-literal way, all the ways possible. All right, they've literally removed the silver from coins. All right, they replaced it with zinc, so they literally diluted their coinage as well. And on top of that, the money doesn't have any value now, and they're still diluting it. On top of that, of course, paper money doesn't have any assets. Right? And it used to be backed by silver. All right? They used to have silver. If you look at the old dollars, they'd be payable in silver. The new money does not say that. If you go and look up a $50 bill. All right? Well, a $50 bill. All right? It says $50. That's it. All right? But if you look up old, well, we'll pay to the bearer on demand. All right, and it used to be it used to be. Might have been older. There used to be an actual yeah, like silver certificates. All right, they used to look a little bit different, but they used to be payable to the Baron on demand silver certificate. All right, that's how they used to be. There it is. All right, so like you bear with me. Sorry. Dry ass skin on my lip. But $1 in silver payable to the bearer on demand. There you go. All right. I was trying to find it. All right. So a silver note. All right. $1 dollar bill silver certificate. All right. There you go. That's the picture I wanted. Damn. So $1 in silver payable to the bearer on demand. There you go. So that's how it used to be. It's not tied to silver. When did US coins stop being silver? All right, you can go and look that up. All right. The U.S. stopped making most silver circulating coins in 1965 with the Coinage Act, eliminating silver from dimes and quarters, though half dollars contained 40% silver until 1970. After which all U.S. coinage transitioned to copper nickel clad, which is not worth shit. All right. So isn't that the same thing? All right. And you can even ask, isn't that what the Coinage Act did exactly, though? And it says, short answer, yeah. Functionally, it's the same move, just done with cleaner tools and better PR. Long answer with nuance. Rome's version. They literally shaved silver out of coins. Same face, same denomination, less precious metal. People eventually noticed, prices jumped, trust dropped. America's version. No shaving coins in the street. Instead, the Coinage Act of 1965 removed silver from dimes and quarters and reduced it in half dollars. Coins kept the same face value, but the real backing was gone. That straight up debasement just legalized and gradual. Okay, so there you go. So why Rome diluted metal content, modern systems dilute purchasing power. So there you go. So I mean, they were basically robbing the silver. They still had the same value. Now you don't have the same value. It's not the same value anymore, you know. So that's what they're doing, you know. That's the economic decay, and that goes back to the lying. They think that the economy, we're not as bad. You know, Trump economy. Well, that's all you got to look up, because he says the economy is the best it's ever been. Okay. Let's see. He stated, Trump says economy is good. Yeah, right here. Trump tells America the economy is strong, blames Biden, but then you can see jobs numbers hit record low as Trump's economy craters. Okay, but no, he's saying, the economy is the best it's ever been. We're doing great, folks. Right? And no, it's a lie. Okay, Trump says the economy is good. Is it? Goes back into Job 13:4. But you're forgers of lies. You're all physicians of no value. Okay, they're liars. Okay, they're liars. And it's the same thing. We can go and get, which one do I want to get? We'll get this one. This is Proverbs 12:19. It says, the lip of truth shall be established forever, but a lying tongue is but for a moment. Okay, and then we got to get this, is verse 20. It says, deceit is in the heart of them that imagine evil, but to the counselors of peace is joy. Now, what is deceit? Let's go and define deceit.
Deceit.
Okay, the action or practice of deceiving someone by concealing or misrepresenting the truth. So that's what's being done. He's misrepresenting the truth. He's saying the economies are great. Meanwhile, we have this from 2 days ago saying that job numbers are hitting a record low as Trump economy craters. Now, and this is also more proof to show you that he's Nero. All right, Trump, Nero. You can always go and look. All right, look, you even have books on it, American Nero. And the apostles been saying this before they started doing all these things. Okay, and that's really what he is. All right, he's Nero. Okay, you can go and see they look exactly the same. And again, at the end of the day, if you don't understand reincarnation, it is a biblical topic. It is a biblical, it is accurate biblically. All right, but Christians just don't understand it because they don't read their Bibles. So there's plenty of lessons out there. You can type in GMS reincarnation. All right, I always recommend. I'll show you the video I usually recommend to people. Right here. And the Apostle Tahar, all right, his page right here, I recommend subscribing. What is the 666 Mark II GMS Truth? This is a newer page, so it's not going to have all the stuff. There's another one, his older page. As I wade through here. He has another one. I think it's GMS Tahar Bon Loya. That's another one that he has. He uses sometimes. Here's one of his old pages, I believe. This is Don't Take the Charagma. You can go and look up reincarnation. Yeah. I believe this is one of his pages, oldest pages. Let me see.
Emaciating. Jordan Maxwell.
Yep. So there's one of his old pages. Here's the Tahar Bonlaya page. He uploaded something there just the other day, I believe. Yeah. A very lightly used channel. I think it's one of his backups. I believe that's the main one. Oh, here it is. Here's the old. This is the old one. All right, this is the one. All right, GMS declaring the end. This was the one I believe he was using right before he used what is the 666 mark. So you can go in here and type in reincarnation, and there'll be a lot more that pops up on here because he had this page. You know, you can see this page has 8,000 videos. This one has 6,000, or this one has 1.2 thousand videos. Or excuse me. This one has, I was going off subscribers. This has 1.2 thousand videos. This one has 2.3 thousand videos. So this one has a couple more videos. Again, this is the Apostle's newer page. So, you know, go subscribe to his new page. This is where the new ones are coming out. But the old page, you know, you got to sometimes dig if you're looking for the information. Right here, reincarnation is an easy thing to understand if you're one of the elect. All right, an hour and 46 minutes. Go and watch it. There's a whole bunch of lessons in here. All right. The one I always recommend, other than the Apostle Tahar, is Apostle Gabar. And you can type in reincarnation. What the hell is going on now? Good Lord. Is Bishop Nathaniel saying the phone is the mark of the beast? I wouldn't even be surprised. And that's a damn shame that that's not something I would be surprised about. This guy, Bishop Nathaniel, he's losing it, man. But, you know, the natural man cannot comprehend spiritual things like reincarnation. Go and watch that one. This one, reincarnation is a fundamental part of the Holy Scriptures. Go ahead and get that one. This one's the one I usually always recommend, I think. Reincarnation, a biblical fact. It's an hour and 11 minutes long. I know that's too long for some people's short attention spans, but if you want it, there you go. I gave you a whole bunch of opportunities. You can go and look into reincarnation. This guy is Nero reincarnated. Okay, this guy is Nero reincarnated. All right. So, look, even this guy, is this Bernie Sanders? He said, Nero fiddled while Rome burned. Trump golfs. His actions fanned this pandemic, resulting in over 170,000 deaths and a nation still unprepared to protect its people. Right? So this guy is this guy's Nero. Is Trump the new Nero? He is. All right. He is, absolutely. All right. So this guy's fucking Nero. We've had tremendous success. All right. Fucking. What did Nero do? Known for tyranny, debauchery, murdering family, persecuting Christians, blaming them for the Great Fire of Rome, extravagant spending on palaces like the Golden House, scandalous public performance as an actor and musician, deeply resented by the aristocracy but popular with the masses for his lavish games. Right? His reign ended in suicide. So, we'll see what happens with Trump. We'll see if it all becomes too much for him. But yeah, man, let me grab some of this drink. Bear with me. Bear with me. I'll be right back. 1 minute. Ooh. All right, Slock you. We're back. I was trying to drink this coffee here, and thought I put enough honey in it, and I most certainly did not. So yeah, man, you know, let's see what's going on with Trump, and he, you know, he really thinks he's delusional, right? This guy's delusional. All right, they already say he's mirroring effects that's commonly seen in things like dementia. All right, and that could just be a you know, something to try to discredit him. The guy's loony. All right, he's lying, and it's one thing, all right, because he's lying, but it's another thing if he truly thinks he's helping, which I don't think he does. I think he knows what he's doing. All right, this guy's, you know, they're trying to play him off as a dumbass, and he's not a dumbass. He's a smart guy. He's just smart in wickedness. So you see inflation, money printing, asset bubbles, and the other thing going back into inflation is the lying about inflation. They say we're currently what, like 7%. What percent inflation in USA currently? They say it's like 2%. 2% is a lie. Okay, 2% is a lie. Okay, 2%. You know, there was a guy that did a video. Here it is. I think this is the one. Let me see. This shows you it's a lie. How do I get the...
While going through his purchase history on Walmart, Sewerlid stumbled upon his grocery order from 2022 and noticed a reorder button. This made him curious to see how much those same groceries would cost today.
It was 126 as you see it.
And it's astonishing.
Back then.
I feel like I'm gonna be sick. I just looked through my Walmart history, and I found this Walmart order from 2 years ago for the whole month worth of groceries. 45 items cost $126. A whole month of groceries just for me, basically. But I did notice this reorder all button, and I wanted to see how much it would cost now. Now? This order of 45 items for 1 month would have cost $414. That is 4 times more. How the fuck? How?
So let's go and prove some lies.
Walmart history.
Those same buttons.
And he actually gave, he said 45 items. No, that's plus 45 more items. There's 53 items that he ordered. 53 items received. So it was, what was it?
Made him curious.
126. Okay. Let's go and do some math. So 126. So 126.67, right? Yep. Okay, and then now, what was it?
To see how much those same...
For 1 month.
41439. 41439. 41439. Okay. He said, so if 2 years ago I bought, what was it? Like 53 items. I bought 53 items of groceries at Walmart for, and now 2 years later I reorder those very same groceries, and they're now, what percent of inflation is that? Let's see if it's 2%. Let's see if it's 2%, everyone. It's not going to be. So they say that's a 227% increase in price over 2 years. So total inflation over 2 years, 227%. An equivalent annual inflation rate, 81% per year. But they say we're only at a 2% inflation rate. It says what the 2% number is very misleading unless you know exactly what it means. Okay, it's not saying prices are only 2% higher than a few years ago. It means prices are rising about 2% per year right now, based on a broad government index, which is still 2% per year. Even sounds like bullshit. 2% per year even sounds like bullshit, because this was 2 years ago, and this isn't 4%. There you go. You're right. If inflation were truly 2% per year for what you buy, your bill would be about 4% higher after 2 years, not triple. Your intuition is solid. Let's put hard numbers on it. Too much math. But anyway, it goes on to say, it says, honest takeaway, you're not misunderstanding math. You're seeing the difference between statistical inflation versus household cost reality. For your grocery basket, the effective inflation rate was 81% per year over those 2 years. Calling that environment 2% inflation may technically be defensible in economic reports, but it's bullshit in lived-in experience. So, there you go. It's bullshit. It goes back to doublespeak. Okay, trying to make, we're only at 2%. Well, 2% of what? Well, no, your groceries have gone up 81%, but the 2%, and they use some minor niche little fucking thing to attach that 2% to, and then they call it 2%. It's a lie. It's a lie. Okay, again, that goes back to Job 13:4. But ye are forgers of lies, you're all physicians of no value. Which the tail end of the scripture is also important to understand. You're all physicians of no value. Okay, all physicians of no value. If look, a physician is a medical practitioner. If you're gonna get help, the Lord's gonna do it. All right, I can attest that at least me and at least one other person I know out here in Vegas, we've gone to the hospitals and they don't find nothing ever. They don't know. It could be, it might be this. We don't really know, and they won't run tests. They won't do it. All right. So, but they'll take your money. All right, they'll take your money. So that's all. All right, that's all. They'll take your money, but they'll be like, I can give you this. It's not really going to help it, but, so it's, it's just one of those things where it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It's all through Yahweh Bashem Yahushua if you get healed or not. Okay. Now you can still go, not saying you can't go to those places, but don't think anybody there healed you. It was the Lord that allowed something to go down or not. Okay. For example, I was having some, they thought it could have been laryngitis for a while, which doesn't make sense. It's either laryngitis or it could be pharyngitis, one of them. Didn't have any issues with my throat. I wasn't really coughing. I just had issues, where feeling like a lump in my throat when I was swallowing. All right. And I think it was just some type of inflammation that happened from some of the things I was eating at the time. And, however it was. All right. Or I was getting over a cold. It could have been a rebound thing that happened from after I got over that cold or that flu or whatever I had, right? Could have been, something that happened with the irritated throat lining, right? But they didn't really look into it. They said, maybe it could be strep. I don't really want to run a test on that because, it might not be. Well, then fuck it. If you don't know if it could be or couldn't be, then run the test. Shit. And they did. They said, we can give you a little bit of, it wasn't like, basically like Novocaine. Well, you swallow this and it can numb it, and it just made it worse. All right, but then they gave me a steroid pack. All right, I've been having these issues with inflammation in my neck. All right, and it helped that through Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. All right, when that wasn't even what we were addressing, right? And even that with Esau's medicine, it went away completely, and then it came back a little bit. Lord willing, it stays, less than it was, but it still came back a little bit, but it's not as bad as it used to be. So call all Yahweh Bashem Yahushai for that. That wasn't that guy's intentions. All right, that guy didn't have fucking, anything, all right, to do with it. And I guess it helped the throat a little bit, but that's all through Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. These guys are physicians of no value. A real physician would be able to look at you and say, oh yes, there's a problem with your eye. All right, these guys, there's something there. There could be something wrong with it. I don't really know. We could look into it, but I really probably wouldn't right now. Why? Because you don't know. They don't know. Okay? They don't know. They don't know. They don't know anything. I've gone back, the last few times I've been, they've been, oh, you have a little bit of cobblestone throat, you know, from postnasal drip, and that's because I get allergies and I get bad mucus and shit like that. And I've tried a lot of different things, but you know, every time they're like, oh, we are seeing a little bit of cobblestone. Yeah, well, of course it's been like that, and they're like, oh, well, it might go away on its own. The last several months you've seen me, it hasn't gone away on its own. So what the fuck are you talking about? You don't know what you're talking about. All right. So they are physicians of no value. Little bonus tip, right? Little bonus tip, on top of being forgers of lies, they're also physicians of no values, as it says in Job 13:4. So you can't trust these devils for anything. All right, they can't, you know, they're liars. Okay, they're forgers of lies, and they're liars on how good they are at medicine too. They'll say, oh, we're good at medicine. No, you're not. No, you're not. You suck at it. All right, you suck at it. You don't know what the hell's going on. All right, so Revelation 12:9. All right, and this is what's eventually going to happen with Esau, because they don't know what's going on. All right, they're trying to rule in this wickedness, but they're like, essentially, it's like if you gave a retarded child, you know, free reign to rule the world. They're going to try to, you know, do what they do, but it never really works out. Okay, it never really works out. Just things get worse. All right, which is good for them because that's what they're trying for. But I mean, when you have an idiot in rulership, usually that comes along. All right, and really the Lord is piloting everything anyway. All right, these devils think they're doing something. They wouldn't be able to do anything without the Lord. They couldn't even get this far without the Lord using them as a whooping stick, because that's all they are. They're a whooping stick. That's all you are. All right. So Revelation 12:9, it says, and that great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world. He was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. Of course, this is dealing with Esau, Edom. All right, now the devil is referring to a man. All right, the devil is referring to a man. Sometimes Satan can be used to refer to as a man, but most of the time it's dealing with a spiritual demon, Satan. But you know, the devil, all right, or Lucifer, light bringer or light bearer, you know, that's dealing with a man. All right, that is a man. All right, and that man is Esau, Edom. All right, through his generations. All right, now he's calling himself white European. All right, but he's really an Edomite. All right, that's his biblical lineage. Just like the same thing with so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. Might call ourselves black or Dominican or Haitian. Or you might call yourself a Native American or a Mexican, or you might call yourself a Puerto Rican, or, you know, an Islander, or whatever. You know, you're an Israelite. That's your actual lineage, all right? Whether you go back to Gad or Issachar or Benjamin or Judah or Levi or Ephraim, you know, I think I already said Ephraim, but or Naphtali or Manasseh, wherever you go back to, that's who you really are, not brown or Latino. All right, at the end of the day, Latin is just a who. There's multiple different types of Latin people. Okay, so, but that's part of it. That's part of his deceiving. Okay, which deceiveth the whole world. All right, he's gonna be cast out. All right, and he's gonna be stripped out of his power. All right, and Jake is forcibly gonna be put into power. All right, because that's the rightful order that things are gonna go. Okay, but you can't trust these devils on anything, man. These devils are all, like it says, forgers of lies. Okay, they're forgers of lies. They're a bunch of liars. Okay, they're a bunch of liars. And another scripture I want to get about liars, whatever is spoken in secret. This is Luke 12:2. It says, for there is nothing covered that shall not be revealed, neither hid that shall not be known. Okay. It says, therefore, whatsoever ye have spoken in darkness shall be heard in the light, and that which ye have spoken in the ear and closet shall be proclaimed upon the housetops. And that doesn't mean, you know, you had something happen to you, at some point in your life, and that was an embarrassing thing for you or something, and, you know, that's secret, and now that's going to come abroad. No, it doesn't mean that. It's more so when you're dealing deceitfully. All right, you know, they have that saying, oh, what a tangled web we weave when we practice to deceive. All right, all those things are eventually going to be revealed. All right, and that's what they do. And really, this is like dealing with like the secret council of the wicked. All right, and that's what they do. They sit in these secret councils and they think about all the wickedness that they're going to do and all the evil. But all those things are eventually going to be put out in the forefront. All right, you're trying to hide that, and that's trying to be the side dish in the back, but that's going to be on the main platter. How'd this get on the main platter? This wasn't supposed to be served. Well, it's just going to happen because the Lord's going to, you know, he's going to do you that way. Okay, so that's number 3. Right, that's number 3. We're going to probably close out there because we're just about to the 40-minute mark. I didn't think this one was going to go as long as it did. But the next one's bread and circuses. All right, modern edition, you know, keeping you distracted, right? Bread and circuses, modern edition. People are distracted with entertainment outrage cycles, celebrity drama, sports, streaming, dopamine feeds, not because life is good, but because it keeps people docile. Rome had games and spectacles. We have infinite screens. So there you go. And I'll have to see how I do with it. I might just end this lesson and go right into it, or I might wait until do it a little bit later. We'll have to see. It's all to the spirit and power of Yahweh Shemel Shai. But that's part 3. All right, I believe. Yeah, part 3 of America is in a state of societal decline. So we're gonna close out there. Lord willing, it was edifying. Once again, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High, Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Dash. I want to say shalom to you brothers and sisters out there. Keep enduring, keep the faith. We're almost out of here. Until next one, Lord willing, shalom.